Lunch with the Good Rep Boys. I got Eric here with me. If you tuned in yesterday, you saw us kind of do our thing yesterday on the JM channel. Now we're here on the Good Rep Media. How you doing today, Eric?
I'm awesome.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it. I would be doing much better if I didn't. So right before we went live, I was like getting ready, and then I was like, "Oh crap! I'm wearing the same shirt I wore yesterday." So I just grabbed the first shirt I could, and
Nice.
the camera is really. I think the ring light is really making all these wrinkles just pop right now. I'm pretty wrinkled almost every time we go on the pod, but this one feels a little exceptionally wrinkled this time.
No, you look great. Fireworks, fireworks, fireworks.
Thank you. Yes, fireworks. Go listen. Go give them a listen. That's one thing I think our podcast needs. We need like a little bit of music in the background. Now, I'm not saying I need fireworks playing in the background, but
Like
just
an little intro tag.
Exactly. Like we need a little transition, like intro, like little animation with like maybe some music that plays, and then that music just tails into something soft in the background that constantly goes. You know, that's what we need. Time to get on AI music and make me something to do that, because I don't got the musical abilities. You do. We're gonna that's gonna be the next thing we contract you. Joe is gonna ask you to take a little break on whatever project you got going right now, and is gonna have you make us some music. So
we have so many things already made from Joe Cordings, and we have a backlog of stuff.
Yeah, but here's the thing. He's going to want one more. And I think that is what's going to bring us into our topic here today, which is when your clients ask for more. Project reach is very real. You know, if you've ever dealt with a client, you know it's something where it's like they're never fully satisfied with anything. They'll always have one more thing for you to work on, which they should. They should, you know, like they're like your boss. They're paying you to do work. They should have work, but sometimes they don't quite grasp how much work they're putting on your plate at once.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we're here to talk about. Do you have any experience right off the top of your head that's bringing to your mind, or anything that you want?
Every client ever.
Every client
ever.
Yeah. It's so true. Cody and I, we're here on the pod talking about it pretty often. We have like our massage client who, he's not like constantly like, he's not telling us like we need this, and this, but he's always like probing a little bit to like, how can we kind of like transition over to like pushing like a certain massage that maybe we're like, this isn't the one we should be focusing on right now, but like he's so locked in that like this is the one that we're trying to push, that it's like, well, you're the boss, we got to do it. And it can cause a little stress. I think that there's a little bit of trickle down that can kind of cause to us as employees. That's like, if we could just get one thing that we want done and see the success with that before we move on, then like, the ball will roll a little bit better.
Yeah.
Do you kind of agree with that?
Yeah. I mean, I think especially in marketing, there's a lot of different sort of, I always think of it as like, if it were linear, there's different breakpoints where, responsibility starts and stops. And a good example, when you have a marketing client, you're going to need creatives. So like brand, colors, tone, voice, all that kind of stuff. So you can just craft everything. Some people don't have that. When they don't have that, you're normally going to supplement that to some degree. You can kind of wing it. You can make a whole little brand kit. There's a ton of different ways you can do it, but you're going to have that. So, how do you handle that? How do you manage that? Whose responsibility is that? Is that something you bake in? Is it something you tell them, hey, we're just going to wing it? And I think to your point, there's a client has an idea of what works in their head, and then you have an idea of what you're delivering. And I'll give you an example that this is probably the best example. I had a guy I worked with who was a lawyer, and every month I would give him a little printout, 5-6 sheet, just super easy. I never did big flashy reports because I just don't think reports are the thing that keep people around. The phone ringing is what keeps people around. And he told me one time, he was like, hey, you can just stop bringing me reports. He's like, my phone rings more now that I've hired you. I'm good. I know that you're doing it. And on the flip side, I had a client many years later who I said, hey, because I just kind of stopped doing reports at that point. I was like, people should feel it. And that's how I run it. That's a very personal thing. A lot of marketing companies do some sort of report. It's very rare to not, but I'm one of the people who really just doesn't do it.
Yeah.
I was talking to a guy in Jersey. So he's, got the whole vibe,
Hmm.
whatever the exact stereotype, hey,
Yeah.
a sub
Hey,
sandwich,
forget about it.
yeah, big time that energy. And I told him, I was like, listen, we don't do reports. We want you to just feel it. He's like, oh, the bleeping reports. He's like, this last guy, let me tell you, he's like, he gives me a report. And here's what his complaint was. The guy was like, well, we got you 20 calls to your business. The guy did mortgages. The calls he was getting, 16 to 18 of them were for like personal loans. He's like, we don't do personal loans. That's not the kind of loan we do. Home loans. He's
Yeah.
like, so yeah, you got me 20 calls, but only 2 of them were legitimate. And they were like, well, that's not our problem. Kind of is. It
Yeah.
kind of is. You need to like address the needs of the actual client.
Hmm.
Um, Sometimes the client doesn't realize what their needs are though. And
Yes.
they have an idea of what success looks like that is not valid. Like
Yeah.
people want
I
to be able to Google classic. I want to be able to Google uh this was one I had bankruptcy attorney. It was like a Macomb bankruptcy. And I was
hmm
like, dude, no one is looking for that. I can
Yeah.
show you that no one is looking for that. I have proof. But he wanted to be number one for that. Got him number one for that. Nothing changed. Don't be mad at me, you know?
You know, like reports, like I get where you're coming from, where it's like nobody wants to like read like a booklet of paper, but then also like you need to kind of have the data going in to like back up like why you want to do like if you're gonna give your team a project, you need some type of like data behind it to tell you this is a good move. A
Yeah.
lot of times I feel like owners and clients will be like, well, we just think that this is what we should do.
Mhm.
And they are an owner for a reason sometimes. Like sometimes like Joe is a good example of like he'll say things that were like this is a bad idea, but then like a lot of times they work out really well. And so like from the marketing perspective, it's a hard balance because you want to be able to go like, okay, why are we doing this?
Mhm.
We need more reason than because the boss said.
Yeah.
Our old good rep manager, you remember, Stevie, he was great at like he would come to clients, he would go to Joe, he would go to everybody with numbers. Like he wouldn't be like, hey,
Yeah.
here's a whole data packet for you to look at, but he would have them for himself and be like, I have the numbers here if you want to look at it. We're seeing like you get searches like 200 searches for this keyword a week or whatever, SEMrush data, whatever he has.
Mhm.
And like just hearing those numbers, even if like you don't even like sometimes owners can't even comprehend those numbers. Like they're not really
Yeah.
grasping what they mean, but like you can come so matter of factly, so confident with these numbers that all of a sudden these owners are like, this guy knows what he's talking about. I'm going to trust that. And
Yeah.
that was something with Stevie that I always kind of like admired about his like pitches that he would come to Joe or like he's the one who got our massage client. I would
Mhm.
sit in on calls with him where he would sit there and be like, yeah, the calls or the clicks are up whatever percent, like our keyword is ranking for this. And like I could tell the client on the other end was just kind of like, oh, that's great, that's awesome, yeah, cool. But like I don't know that he was actually like registering how good that was for his business. And I
Right.
always find it kind of funny, that little disconnect that I think owners actually have from the data of their
Yeah.
business.
You should, and the person you want to impress in the room is the sales team, because they're the ones who should say they're sort of your validation. So you go to your sales manager and say, "Are you guys getting more calls and more emails and more leads and more bookings and more whatever it is?" If they say yes, you're good. The owner,
Hmm.
unless it's a small business where it's like
Yeah.
one person, the owner probably doesn't realize, because again, their success metrics are not what you're doing. Um, and so all that to say, when you go in, I spend a lot of time talking with a client about what that's going to look like. Like, here is the thing we're trying to do. And I normally ask that. And I say, like, good example. I work with a ministry. They do marriage, like retreat weekends kind of thing. And we just do an incredibly simple, straightforward ad for them. It's just, would you like to have a marriage retreat? Basically, it's pretty generic, like whatever state your marriage is in, it could use this. It'll be a positive thing. It's faith based for those that matters. And we kind of just put that out there. We get bookings. It does really well. We've tried more specific. We tried to dial into things. It just becomes too specific. So we keep it broad and it works really, really well for them. And then to your point, like I did the exact same thing with the massages because my wife Madison is a
Yes.
massage therapist, and when we'd promote for her, the thing that sold was 1 hour just massage sessions,
Yeah.
not special stuff because people don't know. They know what a massage is. Everyone
Hmm.
knows what a 1 hour massage is. You throw a picture of incense and stuff, and they're into it. But when you start to say, it's going to be Swedish Tai Chi,
Yeah.
Braxton Hicks technique or whatever,
Yeah.
that no one
Yeah. Like
knows what that is.
Reiki, reflexology, and it's like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, like, am I getting a good deal here? Is this even like I'm gonna come in like thinking I'm about to get a back massage, and next thing you know, it's like cranial. They're like rubbing your head, and you're
Keep
like,
jumping on me.
oh,
There's a
this
type
was
of
a really
massage
good price, but like I didn't even know what I was getting.
there's a type of massage, and Madison was just telling me this, where the therapist holds on to these ropes from the ceiling and they lay you on a mat on the floor and they walk on you. And it's an Asian modality
Yeah.
where they're using different parts of their feet and just they do that so they're not
Yeah,
completely
like
down on
they
you.
keep the pressure so it's not all their weight on your back,
Yeah,
but
yeah. Um I would be shocked if I
yeah.
walked in and suddenly someone starts walking all over me, you know?
Could you imagine like coming in, like you're not getting that massage, but like they have the whole setup there, and like you have to lay down on a bed with these like rope swings over top of you, and it's like,
Yeah.
what are you really doing in here? This is 50 Shades of Grey.
I just feel like, how late are you open? Because I'll tell you what, the way is if a massage therapy place is open after 10 p.m., there's something going on. Okay, they're gonna have the ropes.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. I think I know a massage studio that an owner that I used to know. I bet that one was open after 10. And I got some people in mind that probably owned a massage studio open after 10.
Yeah.
Uh,
All 24-hour nah, I don't know about
24
24-hour massage, man. You don't
pre-COVID. Pre-COVID.
pre-COVID.
Oh, that's so funny. So kind of jumping back to the topic, do you, in your experience, what do you think you've had more like? We can admit almost all clients will put more on your plate than like you really want on your plate at any given time. Do you
Mhm.
feel like it's more often like tweaking a current project that you get more often than not, or is it like a hey, as soon as you're done with this, we need this and that? Does that make sense? Like, is it a
It
lot
does.
for one project, or is it like a lot of plates?
I think it is you sort of get towards the end and then they start to realize these missing links.
Mhm.
And what happens to me all the time is I come and say, "Hey, I'm gonna need XYZ from you." And they're like, "Oh, can you do those things?"
Yeah.
And then that is so I don't rarely does someone come and say, "You better do this or else." It's not really threatening. It
Yeah.
is up to you as the agency representative to make sure you're managing this stuff well. If someone comes through and says, "Hey, can you guys do that?" Yes, tack it on. Give them a discount. They're already in. Make it cool, make it fair, make it feel good. But
Yes.
like, because you already sold it, so like drop off 20%, 80% of that cost was probably just closing them
Mhm.
anyways. So like if you have an existing client who's just trying to get those things done, just work with them and find a way that it works. I do some freebies,
Yeah.
but if I have a client who's just on a maintenance for a year and we're not really doing much, and then they call and say, "Hey, can you help me with this thing?" Just hop on a call for an hour. Of course,
Yeah.
I'll do that. Just showing face and having the time to sit down and meet with them and talk with them is always great.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a card in your back pocket that you can pull and be like, "Hey, we'll go ahead and we'll do this one." Or if you have a project that you scoped out big and it comes in under budget and you got a couple bucks extra, you can throw that towards helping
Yeah.
things get out the door, I think.
Absolutely.
Because the goal is just success. I mean, if they don't have the things and they need them, do you want to send them off into the wild while you're responsible for that campaign? Like for me, if I'm doing ads, I've had people be like, I can design my own creatives. And I'm like, don't do that. Just let me
Yeah,
do it because
yeah.
you, I'm just here. I'm in this, you know?
We have a skincare client that likes to do her own ads for a lot of the things that she does. But then like almost every time she posts it, we will like grab it and we'll send it to our designer and be like, fix this, make this,
Mhm.
like keep her inspiration, because we want it to be like
Yeah.
a taste of like what she wanted it to be. But like there needs to be more here. This needs to be different. Like fix this little weird edit, things like that, just so
Yeah.
that you can like you need the job you need to like both do what the owner wants or what the client wants, but you also need to give a good product. So like
Yeah.
so you take what they have and use that as inspiration for what you're going to make. Man, before you said that, and then that got me thinking on that client. I had another thing that I wanted to say about a different client, but it is almost completely gone from me at this point. I was sitting there
Yeah.
thinking on it, and then you said that, and I jumped over, and then the first thing was gone. Oh,
I feel like there's sort of two, I don't know, there might be more, but I feel like you can split agencies into sort of two deliverable approaches. There's one where they say, we're going to give you, and they itemize the whole thing. You're going
yes,
to get 3 creatives, 1 campaign, we'll write the copy, give you a landing page, whatever it is. It's this list of line
yeah,
items. And then the other one is, we're going to get these results through whatever means we find necessary. And I think there's kind of a balance between the two. Like I'm working on a project right now actually for the a branch off of that ministry that I talked about a second ago.
yeah,
And they want to run some ads because it's just thing happening in the United States. There's a lot of um they're upping preschool
hmm,
schooling for that age bracket of kids,
yeah,
and they're doing a lot more free programs. So these guys do a faith-based ministry preschool, and free is a lot cheaper than anything.
yeah, yeah,
So their enrollment's dropping and they need some help getting it back up. They never advertise, so we're out here advertising.
yeah,
Their goal is to up enrollments. So they said, how can you up enrollments? So now it's up to me to decide what those line items are, what this is all going to look like. I didn't have like a package I could just pull out of a folder. I wanted to do something right for them.
yeah,
So that was not right, but like tailored to them.
yes,
Minimal, get out the door fast. So we're going to do some ads. We're going to do good targeting, take some time, make sure we're building that out right. Good creatives, good copy, and then a very simple lead capture landing page. It's going to be mobile optimized, hardly even a website. It's
hmm,
just going to be get people in, get their
yeah.
info, process
Something
them.
something to get them either enrolled or at least like contactable to get things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it's like it's not quite bare minimum, but it's minimal. And
yeah,
it'll we're going to be fast, which is important to them. It's going to be efficient, which is important to them, and it's going to help them to get leads, which is important to them. So we're
hmm,
checking the boxes without having to have this big laundry list. So they're not going to see things like SSO, WordPress, secured, encrypted, those are buzzwords. They
yeah,
do not care. That does not that's not relevant to the problem that they came to you with. Um, no one has ever come to me and said, I just need a website for my business. One guy who needed a website for like, I guess this happens at Xanadu a lot. He needed like a tax website. He's like, I need a website. So when they come sniffing around, there's something I can show them.
it's
I got that
hilarious you
once.
say this because that is exactly what I had forgotten about saying like a minute ago.
Perfect.
So like it drives me crazy. So with Good Rep, we get like we have external clients that we work on their sites and everything, but then we also have a lot of internal for the Xanadu marketing side of things where they
Mhm.
like they're building websites. And like I've been trying to tell them recently, like, hey, I have no problem building you websites. I will build you a billion websites if you want, but I need you guys to give me specifics. You can't just
Mhm.
be like, hey, here's a brand name. I need a website for it. It's like, okay, what pages do you need for this website? What
Mhm.
copy is going to go on those pages? Like, do you have like I'll do the colors and stuff, sure, or like I'll pass off to like Emily to like give us a design and then I'll use the colors from that. But like
Mhm.
I just need more details than like here's a name, go make a website. And I say that like I love the idea of being able to be creative and like they don't give me any like rules, so I can go make a website and I get to be creative. But unfortunately, the way my brain works is that's when I slow down. You know, like when it's like, oh, I can do anything I want. I have a blank canvas to work on. Then I'm never satisfied with what I'm doing. You know, like then I'm
Then you
always
become
trying to do
creative.
something different every step of the way. And that's when a website then takes me 2 weeks to do when it could have taken me like 5 days to do, you know?
Yeah, I understand that.
And that's
And
been one of my big concerns. Like just like the other day, I think it was like the website that I had literally pinged out to you the other day, like renters assistance or whatever it was.
yeah,
I was like, can we please be specific on exactly like what it is that we're gonna need? And then I'm not gonna go into it. It wasn't bad. Like nobody was bad, but like I just didn't get
you didn't
specifics
get an
at all
answer.
after specifically asking for them. You know, and I
Mhm.
was like, uh, at one
Well,
point they were like, do you think we could add on like a home and apartment search page where we could like search through available homes and apartments? And I'm like, where are we going to get those from? Do you
yeah,
have like an apartments.com API or something?
you got
Like,
to source
yeah.
apartments.
Uh,
Yeah, it's and a lot of times they don't know what they need specifically. I mean,
exactly.
like we at Vastcore, we do a ton of landing pages.
Yeah.
So a real common use case that we'll receive is someone who's running ads. We have actually a referral partner who's this really good, probably like top double single digits of Google Ads guys. Really, really talented guy. Um, and he'll send us referrals for landing pages because they get set up on Google Ads, or a lot of people already have Google Ads going, but they're sending them to where they're sending them the homepage of their website. Everyone sends it the homepage of your website.
Yeah.
Stop doing that. If you're running
Mhm.
ads right now, I swear to God, stop running them to the homepage of your website because the homepage of your website is a spider web. It is designed to give you access to anything they might want to learn or know. So it's like, here's our menu. Stop sending them to the menu,
Mhm.
send them to the special, send them to
Yeah.
the one thing. Like if you
Send
think of a
them to
restaurant,
where they will convert. Don't give them
yeah,
steps to fall off. Like
yeah, don't let them get
every
distracted.
every layer they have to go in order to convert is a step that they can close out. You know, like if you have to go through 3 pages, like on the third page is where you can finally give your information. Those first 2 pages are going to have people leave. You know, but
Yeah,
you might have gotten them if they had that form there on that first page. So run your ad right to that service page.
yeah. And for anyone who has a website that is trying to gather leads, like that's the purpose of the website, make sure that on your homepage, right in the top, like as high as you can get it, have
Right in the top fold.
call, contact, form, email, get
Mhm.
something first thing when they land.
So I went to design school. I have a degree in graphic design, and
Mhm.
I low key hate forms in the top fold, but like I know they do better. And so like
I
that's like
know.
one of the things Cody's always like, "Hey, can we get a form pushed higher?" And I'm like reluctant, but I'm like I know he's right, so I can't push
Yeah.
back on it. But like I look at it and I'm like, "God, this looks so much better without that."
Yeah.
Like Cody's a big like he doesn't like negative space. He doesn't like empty space on a website, and I
Mhm.
kind of really do. And so like from a design perspective, like that's part of the reason why I'm like, oh man, whenever I have to build a website from the ground up, because I know I'm going to build it and then like it's going to be like the opposite of like it's not to say he doesn't like good like like his design sense is still good. It's just not mine, like
Yeah.
everyone has different preferences. So like
Well,
I will build a site that has like a form at the bottom, but it might have a button at the top. You click like fill form and then
yeah,
it'll
yeah.
anchor link you down or something. But it's still like if you have it there, like someone goes to your website and the first thing they see is a form, that's probably getting more fills than like someone who has to click a button to go down to a form or something.
Yeah. Our little our cheat code, which is no
The secret sauce.
it's no secret sauce. I mean, our cheat code is get the email and then that takes them to a lot of times we'll have email and then it takes them to the full form. So it'll be
Okay.
like we get email, they go into a potentially a fall off list. And then we take them and it's like, okay, if you actually are serious about getting contacted, here's what you actually have to fill out. But we're
Yeah,
going to ping
that's
you either
smart.
way now,
I like that. So like
And
you
you can just
just
pop
have
that
like
anywhere,
just like a sign up for the newsletter email, and then like when you type that in, like interest, like a then maybe like a modal will pop up where it's like interested in learning more, schedule an appointment or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Or
I
it'll
like
be
that.
like, they fill it out and it's like, get started now, or get your great rate, or whatever the offer
Yeah,
is, whatever the thing is you're doing. And yeah, and then we lead them into wherever they need to go. And
I
we
like
just
that.
kind of
I think that's a little bit more saucy than you think it is.
maybe, yeah,
I
I
think that's got
guess.
a little sauce there. Like that's something people wouldn't think about. I like that. I'm
But
gonna start implementing that. My brain's over here like churning like what sites I like that would go
you can
well
swap
on.
them.
Yeah.
Well, now here's the challenge is sometimes potentially tracking. If you're trying to like track something all the way through,
Yeah.
when you have that page break, sometimes that throws it. But what we normally do is when you're running the ads and doing the marketing stuff, you got to have that thing that you're like, this is the conversion. This is what we are considering a conversion. So for me, a conversion is normally filling out that form, filling out step 1 of a form. That proves that I got them there and we got at least a key piece of information to get them started. A lot of clients, I think, when I pitch this idea, they recognize that not everyone is going to want to fill out a whole book. And I also tell them to minimize, keep that, you ask them for as little information as you need to satisfy, getting
Yeah.
started with them. And that is email, because now you can contact them and you can just see
Mhm.
what happens from there.
Yeah.
But if you kick them into a step 2, then you can, budget or name or phone or whatever you want to do, but it
Yeah.
works pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's great. And like you were talking about tracking, like my brain's like started like going right away on that. Like how could we track that? And like really, the bridge you guys have made for us. I won't go too deep into it, but we have Lead
Mhm.
Branch, the CRM that we use here at Good Rep and throughout Xanadu, which is from what I believe soon to be going live. I've been hearing that for a
Mhm.
while now, but I do think it is actually getting close to being live. So I'll go ahead and I will plug that in here really fast. If you or your brand is looking for a CRM at all, something to store all your data, all your leads, API-able from just about anything, you can go ahead. Oh, I thought I had a link here to the Joey Matterhorn tool belt, but I don't appear to have that. Go ahead, visit Joe. You guys see anything on the bottom right now? Nothing's like popping up as I'm typing this, right? Head
Nope.
on over to joeymatterhorn.com. I'm not even going to type this. There you can sign up to be contacted and get in on the Joey Matterhorn tool belt. What that
Mhm.
is it's going to be a group of softwares that you can use in the affiliate marketing space. If from Lander Page, another one of Eric's brainchilds over here. To build landing pages for you. Any leads you collect on that can get sent right over to Lead Branch, where you can collect all the data. Then from there, MailChimp can be linked up to it. I believe Lead Branch even has the opportunity there in it to message straight out from Lead Branch. Great product to use, working great and very affordable. Hop on over to Joey Matterhorn, get contacted from us, and we'll get you started, get you enrolled in it. Sorry for that plug. That was gross. Now, what was I saying? With Lead Branch, with the CRM and like tracking that, it would be really easy because like you built that bridge. So like I just send like the email will go to one place, and then like if they fill out the pop-up modal after that, it just goes to a different place.
Yeah.
The way we have it set up now is, they're just different sources. And
Mhm.
I feel like that would be pretty easy to kind of break them up there. I pretty much only said that to plug Lead Branch really
Just set
quick.
it up.
Yeah. My brain was like, this is a good opportunity to do that. And then I butchered it, but we got there.
No, that was a great plug.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay, let's see. I brought my notes down.
Sure.
Oh no, panicking. Where are they? Where are we at?
Advanced
Where are we
management.
at? I don't know if you've seen like Cody does like a 2-minute exit at the end of like all of our pods. And so like I've started just kind of the
Just
entire time he does. I don't know why. I just started doing it one time and now I've done it every time.
you could just put on Subway Surfers and just hold your phone up to the camera.
That'd be a good one. That'd be a good one. Cody's
Get the
talked about
younger
having
audience.
like Subway Surfers like running on like a shirt, like in like the center frame between us or something.
Perfect. I
Yeah.
swear that would I hate that it would work.
Yeah, it probably would work. But like then like we have like Opus, like AI clipping all of our shorts and everything. And
Mhm.
Opus would be clipping, like it would be us talking, like I'd be talking, and then Opus would
Zoom in
like
on.
go over and yeah, it would just be Subway Surfers. That'd be pretty funny. Uh, all right, getting back to topic.
Mm,
Eric, have you ever had to tell a boss, like, hey, man, you are giving me too much right now. I need to finish up some of the things I'm working on before you put more on my plate?
yeah.
Yeah.
And I have stubbornly resisted doing that, for a long time. And for many years, I mean, if you're someone who is in this space and you're working from home, you're working remotely, and there is this accountability conundrum where everyone's just kind of trusting that you're being productive. And the danger of that is that they're using their own mental benchmarks for your
Hmm.
success. So they're like, this should only take this long, or this is going to take forever. They a lot of times are out of sync with reality. No fault of anyone's, other than just sometimes that's how it is. And even when you are that person who's the actual like ass and seat doer, like um, sometimes it just takes longer because you have other things that come up, and if you're in, like with us at Xanadu, this is a company. We got company stuff, we've got calls, we've got this right here. This is time that we're
Yeah.
away from other things, we have things that are happening. So just over communicating is really important. Um, and also just being really conscious and cautious of biting off more than you can chew. I've done it a million times and I regret it every time because I cannot handle it. You're not going to magically be able to handle it. In fact, you probably want to bake a couple hours of just grace time into your day, which will be filled up.
Yeah.
You're going to lose 2 to 3 hours to just someone having a question or wanting to talk
Hmm.
about something. Um, and it's important to make sure that your time is kind of sacred. So if someone's going to use your time, make sure everyone knows it too. Like, hey, I'm over here helping this person right now, so that's why if you were expecting these things, this is priority right now, and just sort
Hmm.
of doing your best to communicate and balance and all that. And don't. I mean, I'm never going to say no, I won't do that, but I
Right.
will say I cannot do that right now.
Yeah, exactly. There's a danger to becoming your company's yes man. If
Mhm.
you are always willing to do every single thing right when it's asked of you, like that becomes the expectation, and then all of a sudden, once you can't, it becomes a negative.
Yeah.
Or like not even just that, like sometimes like there may be like new responsibilities or something where like people like it sucks, but people will sometimes avoid doing a job at a company because like they know in the work environment with like their managers or their owners or their clients that once they do it one time, then all of a sudden it is now their thing to do.
You're the
A great
guy.
example, me on this podcast.
Amazing.
I wasn't supposed to be Cody's co-host on this podcast. Then the person couldn't make it to the first week, and now I am the permanent co-host on this
Yep.
podcast. Uh, Yep. And but that sucks as a work environment though, because like I have a Friday gig I go work, and like the guy I talk to at that is like, yeah, like they asked me to like come in on the weekend, and he's like, and I kind of needed, like he's like, I wanted to make up some hours, so that would have been good. But he's like, I know as soon as I do that, I'm the guy that they call every single weekend.
Yes.
And it's like, so now I'm not being as productive as I know I can be, because I'm
Mhm.
afraid that now you guys are going to have that level of expectation from me always.
Yeah. It is a slippery slope, and it's tough to manage all that stuff. It's tough to manage, um, getting stuff done and out the door. I think that is also it. When it's a pain when you're the one who has the skill to do it.
Hmm.
Someone else should logistically, by the hierarchy and chain of command, be the one to do it. Um, I guess it's one of the advantages to like, really sticking with almost like militaristic discipline in chain of command, because we
Yeah.
know that this guy does this thing.
Yes.
Um, but in this space, there's so many things that come up I'll give you an example. Um, we need to add Facebook pixels to a whole bunch of these survey offers that we're running. And the e-commerce team hit me up and was like, "Hey, uh, these are more or less under your umbrella. Can you get these pixels added?" I was like, Yeah. But then someone was like, "Hey, what if we used Google Tag Manager?" Which was a great idea, by the way. And they're like, "You can just place that and then we can update the pixels whenever we need." Really super good play. So we're doing that instead. Um then they're still sending me the Facebook stuff and I was like, "Don't do that. I'm not going
Yeah.
to be the person who's managing the tag managers. You
Yeah.
have to have someone else do that." And I'm drawing the line on that because it just won't get done. I have way too many things that I can't be finagling 1 or 2
Yeah. And
pixels.
like you don't want to be the guy who goes like, "Hey, that's not my job. I'm not going to do it."
Right.
Like if you have the bandwidth, like you want to do something if you can do it for someone. But like and it's funny because in our company, in our like our main chat, every couple months, we get something that's like I'm so tired of people being like, "That's not my job. I'm not doing that." And it's like, well, the reason we're doing that is because the moment we let it be our job once is it becomes our job forever. And
Yeah.
like I think we have a good company. Like a lot of the people would I think a lot of us would be open to helping people much more if that wasn't the case here. And
Yeah.
I think I think it goes both ways. Like you'll find yourself at a company eventually where it's like the complete opposite, where you will go do one thing and it's like, "Oh, thanks. Now you're done. You don't have to do that." And I think that there's an energy that gives you where like I think that everyone's going to be much more productive in an environment like that because
Mhm.
everybody will be more willing to step up and just do whatever they have to do to make everything run well.
Yeah. I think just having patience and, I think if you're the guy who knows how to do it, get on and do a Loom video and give them no excuse to not know how to do it
Exactly.
themselves,
Exactly.
you
Especially
know?
like now I keep getting ads for this thing called like Scribe HQ.
I'm familiar
Have
with
you seen
Scribe.
that? Yeah. Have you
Yeah.
used it? Does it work
I
well?
haven't used it. I was really interested in it though because it's just like a centralization of knowledge, I suppose.
Yeah.
Is kinda how I think it has
Well,
a lot of uses.
yeah, and like you can like Loom video yourself, and then it will make you an SOP of like what you just did,
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know? And I'm like, that is awesome. And I would love to see how well that works because then, yeah, you could be that guy who's like, okay, I'm going to do this one time, but now I can give them this PDF it just printed me. And now someone else whose actual job it is to do this can go do this.
Yeah.
It's funny, like I I pitched that like a week after we hired on somebody to pretty much build us SOPs, and I felt really bad about it. And I was like, no, we just need to teach her to use
Yeah,
this.
but seriously, I'm gonna steal that. Here is something that, irks me, and I'm gonna try and keep it relevant to the main topic because I think that's important. But, it is the "There is a software that does this, so why am I paying you?"
Yeah,
That, like, let me give you some examples. Canva has ready to use ad templates. You pay like $10 a month and you get Canva Premium. You can pull beautiful little square ad templates. They are well designed, does not mean they're going to convert well, does
right.
not mean they're appropriate for your brand, does not mean that they're a million things. They're examples. Um, it's the same with websites. Oh, I can just go and the AI website stuff is like great, but also awful. It's
Yeah, as
awful for
someone
how it's
who has like
perceived.
Divi AI and has played around with it, I hate it. Like I loved it at first. I was like, this makes life so easy. And then like after a month, I'm like, every one of these looks exactly the same.
They all look
You
the
know?
same, and it can get so far, it can do like 80%, but it's still leaving the 20% hardest stuff for you. The
Yeah.
stuff that makes it unique, you're gonna still have to do,
Yes.
so don't think that you can go and just AI your way through stuff magically. There's a lot you can do, but you're gonna cap out, and then you have to have the skills and training to get it the rest of the way.
That's very
Um,
true.
so, like, AI in the hands of people who know how to use that thing, perfect. That's where it
Mhm.
belongs. But if an intern starts throwing me, I've had so many people say, I just spun up this website in Cursor. I use Cursor. I spin up websites. but I know what I'm doing,
Yeah,
so don't just throw walls of code at me and expect me to magically make that work. It's not
exactly.
Play-Doh.
I kind of had almost this exact same realization at my Friday gig. Not to go too deep into what I do there, but like the past couple weeks, I've basically just been using AI to generate pages of just kind of like AI slop, but like they're trying to like fix up some parts of the site. But
Yeah.
like there's like two girls that work there in like the editorial side that
Mhm.
like would have been the ones that do that, but like the guy that I work with was like, they just don't understand AI well enough. Like they just
Yeah.
like they're not able to check it. They're not able to like prompt it well enough to get it. And like I did like courses. I did like SimRush courses on AI prompting and stuff like that on like
Mhm.
how to like properly do it. Or like I see like you do like your AI images with like special format to it.
Mhm.
Even after those courses, I just go talk to an AI like I'm talking to a person. I'm like, hey, can you do this for me? I need you to do this, this, and this. I don't give it like any special format or anything, and I can still get it to do exactly what I want. So that kind of like blew my mind that there are people who are like, I don't get how AI works. And I'm just like, talk to it.
It's here's the thing that kind of really blew my mind with AI was how it's so counterintuitive to the way that we have been taught to perceive communicating with the internet. Because
Yes.
it's like when you go to Google, this is the great example. Everyone has that senior citizen in their life who will go, "Hey Google, how are you doing today? Find me a really great Chinese restaurant near me, please." And it's like what you needed to say was Chinese near me,
Yeah.
something like that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
You
not
don't have
going to
to
do
talk to it like it's a
better.
person. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, now here we have
Now we
Google
have, yeah.
Gemini. Talk to it like it's a person.
Yeah. Have you
And
seen
they
like
love that. The people who are adopting it are like, "Oh, finally, I can have a conversation with the internet."
I just saw a Windows laptop that is like coming out that has like the Cortana AI is now
Mhm.
like up to an actual like chat GPT AI like an actual one that you can talk to, and now like it has like a speaker on the laptop that you just like talk to your computer like whenever you want, and like it'll do like computer functions where it's like, hey, screenshot the top corner of my screen right now, and it'll
Yeah.
like grab it for you and stuff, and I'm like, that's so cool. Like
I
I can't wait for like that to just be across like everything. I probably shouldn't. I know a lot of people hate AI, or like what. So many people are getting to a point where like they can't do a basic thing without like AI helping them, and I'm so afraid of myself getting to that point.
it
Like,
you using it for instruction, I think is great. And what I try to do whenever I do that is have it also explain because I'm someone who like if you tell me peg A goes in hole B and then hole B goes around thing C, why?
yeah,
What is
I'm the
A? What is
exact same
this?
way. It's
Yeah.
like I used to tell people that when I was in like math class, like where like I could have like a professor tell me like 3 times 2 equals 6 because it equals 6, and and here's how you get there. I'm like, great, but tell me like what happened. Like that was 3 happening 2 times, and that's why it is 6.
Right,
Like
right, right.
don't just tell me this is how you get there. I need to know how and why we got there.
I need to be emotionally invested in why we need to determine the value of the hypotenuse.
Yeah,
Like, why are we doing this? Why does this
exactly.
even matter?
Yes,
And
so true.
if because if you have that and you understand the context, that's 80% of it. And then you're like, oh, so this is just the way we do that. Cool.
Mhm.
Like I always struggled with machine like engines, like car engines and stuff. I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah,
But then I was like, why does this do this? What is happening here? And I was like, oh, okay, now I understand a little
yeah,
better what's going on. But
yeah. Oh, like I get what a
yeah, context
piston's
is
doing.
important.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. Was it over the weekend at D&D where like I had to search something and like I Google searched it, and I want to say it was you that was like looked at it and was like, "Oh, you just did Google search. I would have done Chat GPT for that."
Yeah. It's the
Like I was
same
like,
thing. It's the AI result either way. But
yeah. Well, I
my
try and scroll past the Google AI results. I was just talking to my buddy about that, where it's like, I don't want my Google search results to give me a hallucination. Like, I will
right,
go straight to Chat GPT if I'm like in a space where I can have a wrong answer.
right. Yeah, our 12 year well, Rain, our
Yeah.
12-year-old, she she started to do that because she has a Pixel. Like our whole family has Pixels. The people who
Yeah,
have phones, and she'd be
images.
like, "Well, Google said it's this," and I'm like, "Oh, we're doing this now." But like it used to be, people would say, "Well, Google said it's this." It wasn't Google. Google just got you to WebMD to tell
Yeah,
you that you had, butt cheek cancer, because that's
yeah,
probably what that's what it was. It got you there. I promise you. And but now it's like the little AI summary is like, okay, we've compiled all this stuff and we've sort of
yeah,
made a
and
determination.
it's just where it gets scary is like where it's taking that information, like, because if it's taking it from 50 source, like the more sources it takes from, the more likely I believe that there's going to be misinformation in there,
Well,
and
it's
like if
taking
it's
it from
Google's AI, I feel like it's taking it from Google, like everything that it can. And
and it's going to take it from the top ranked sources. So now, SEO is going to
Mhm.
influence this summation of truth, this, or
Yeah.
rather like distillation. So when AI goes through and makes its determinations, it's just looking at the information available to it. Does not
Mhm.
mean it's true, it just means it's whatever the humans said to learn from.
Exactly. And like, and I say I would rather, like, because I don't trust it, I would rather go to these links and like find things like that, not use the AI results, but
Mhm.
it's still pulling from those. So like I get that I should be
Yeah.
a little, and if it's something that like is kind of obvious, if like I'm like it's either A or B, and then I search it and then like Google AI tells me if it's A or B, I will
Mhm.
take it from there. But like again, if it's something where I'm like, okay, but why and stuff like that, I'm gonna want to dig a little bit deeper. And I think that's when I kind of don't just take the AI results right off the top, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It's, where do we source truth from?
Not the internet. That's the last place we should be taking it from.
Yeah, because
Uh,
everyone's trying to sell you something.
That's so true. They're either trying to sell you something or they're just using it as some place to release their evilness. Like they're lying just to lie, they're lying just to hurt people. Like the internet, I think where the internet went like so bad is it's like this location where you can be faceless and it lets people like
Mhm.
release that like that you would never do in person,
Yeah,
like
it's Reddit. When
yeah,
when
exactly.
ChatGPT started to source information from Reddit, I was like, "Okay, guys, hold on."
Yeah,
Because I'm not saying that Reddit's a poor source of information. I know there's a ton of information you can get there, especially on really niche, weird things. Um, but I've also seen people claim to be with an anonymous account like, "I'm a sniper who killed 200 people."
exactly. Yeah,
I don't know, dude. I don't think
yeah,
you're on Reddit
exactly.
telling us this story.
Yeah. No, you can't like especially if you're like anonymous. If you go anonymous in it, it's like
Mhm,
that's my first flag of like, yeah, you're bullshitting. Something's not true here.
mhm.
Um I think Reddit has the perfect tagline. Like what is it? Like front page of the internet.
Yeah,
Cuz like I think it just encompasses exactly what the internet is so well.
yeah,
It's every branch of the internet, everything that there is to know about the internet put onto a forum website.
yeah, and then it's just, random people saying whatever they want about those things.
Yeah.
That's the internet in pretty much entirely anyways.
Mhm. And now that's where Google is taking its information from.
Yeah.
Is what it is. How do you think like do you think like if you had a boss, I think about like Joe,
Mhm,
like I think once Joe like if Joe were to dive into Chat GPT,
mhm.
like I don't think he has yet. And I feel like if he did, that would become so worrisome for me because going back to like the plates, like if Joe had like a way where he could be like, I need ideas. What are some cool campaigns we could run? Like I do SMS and emailing campaigns. Like what can I run? And it's like, here's 500 ideas, and he's like, I'm
Mhm.
gonna send these to my guy. That's a nightmare for me. I'm just waiting for Joe to like understand like use AI for like idea generation and then we're never gonna have a day off again.
Yeah. I do think he is at least, because I think he's even told me, "I restrain from doing that because 'cause I'm already backlogged on ideas."
That's good.
He's like, "I
I,
don't have the space for it."
Joe is like somehow he managed and I respect the hell out of this. He
Mhm.
manages to be like so self-aware and so oblivious at the same time, and I love that, you know? Like like it's like he doesn't know what's going on around him all the
Mhm.
time, but he knows what's going on with him all
Yeah.
the time. And I love that. Like he knows like you guys are gonna think what I'm about to say is stupid. And it's like at least you know that before you say it, you know? Like
Well, a lot of times it's not. And
yeah,
then once someone will be like, "That's not stupid at all." And, I told him one time, I was like, you can't be mad at the guy. You can't make fun of the guy who makes fun of himself." And he
right.
kinda, like, almost winked at me.
Yeah.
Like and we had a whole conversation about one time, and he was like, it's n he knows he's doing it. He knows that he's working that angle. And, but it's smart because it kinda protects you a little bit, you
Yeah.
know? If you kinda go in with it like, "I'm just gonna throw this out there," there's it
It's
sort
Michael
of
Scotting it.
even if he is Michael Scott in it sort of drops the severity, and it's like, "Hey, we're just gonna have a conversation. I'm not saying anyone has to do this, but if you all think it's a good idea, maybe
Yeah.
we will," you know?
Like he has a tendency to kind of like almost look for like a little confirmation echo chamber.
Mhm.
Sometimes, like it's like sometimes like he will hear 1,000 like Joe, this is a bad idea, this is a bad idea, this is a bad idea, and then one person will be like, I kind of think this is a good idea, and he's like, that's what I'm looking for. Like now I
And then
have confirmation this
and
is
then
a
that
good
guy's on
idea.
a plane to Vegas, and then s
That guy just becomes his best friend for the rest of the work week at least. But then that guy all of a sudden is going to be hit with a bunch of projects or something and be like, damn it, I shouldn't have said anything.
yeah, he's
And that's going back to kind of what I was talking about.
gonna run up the new, special projects division, which I can't joke because I think I'm arguably the special projects project manager at this point. I think that's
That makes sense.
kind of in
Yeah, yeah.
my role
Like,
between the lines.
yeah, like I mean, you got like you got Basscore, which is like you're like a whole company that we've contracted for like special projects, like you said.
Pretty
Like
much, yeah.
whenever there is like something like good rep, we can build a website, but like I say it all the time. I'm like I'm a web designer. I am not a web developer. You know,
Mhm.
if you need like special functionality from a website, James can do it better than I can. Like we brought on James, he can handle that side of like actual coding a little bit. But
Yeah.
like ultimately, whenever it's like, oh, we need it to do like X, like when they were like, hey, like, can we maybe put apartments and homes on this site? Before I even knew that that was your site, in my brain, I was like, I'm probably gonna need Eric for this, you know, like I'm gonna have to
I
figure that out. I'll try Chat GPT first, and then when that doesn't work, I'm probably gonna need Eric for this.
let me say, what is entailed in this? And it's like development,
Yeah,
tremendous
development.
amount of
Yeah,
development.
coding, like integration. You know, I can
Mhm.
make it look pretty. I'll make it look real pretty. uh, but like that works for me because like all I have, like as a designer, the internal side of what we do is a lot of like just pump out sites that like have a form on it that will like get us our
Mhm.
businesses to contact people,
Yeah,
and like so I
it's
don't
very
have to
practical.
make it API to apartments.com or anything like that. I don't
Yeah,
have to make like a cool little like page transition or anything like that. I just got to make things look pretty.
yeah.
I like that. And I appreciate that because that's
We're
like what I went to school for.
yeah. We're kind of in this time too where, like, um, the way we consume web content is very practical.
Hmm.
And I think people at this point appreciate practicality. Like we see ads as a nuisance. When you're scrolling and trying to find the freaking ingredients in the recipe and you get those full page interstitial ads, no one likes that. No one wants that experience.
Yeah.
It's like, so that you're intentionally clouding their journey when you do those things. Um, just for I don't know, that's how content works. That's how,
Yeah.
you do that. But for businesses who are um trying to actually like achieve a goal, if you're talking to Good Rep Media or any such agency, go in with know your goal. That's
Hmm.
the most important thing for you to know is why you're on the phone. Don't just talk to someone because someone told me I should talk to you guys. Go in with some purpose and some intention and genuinely look at your business or brand and say, what can we fix? and then bring those things to the table. This is what we find to be weaknesses, or what we want to improve, sales or appearance or brand or whatever. And then they can help you do that. Because, and if you, I would say probably 80% of the time, most agencies are going to thrive with the autonomy to sort of package that up how they see is going to be best for you.
Hmm.
Because number one, they can lean into their strengths. Like, I'm really good at Facebook ads. I don't pitch Google ads because I don't like them. I just don't like the whole process. They're way more expensive too.
Yeah.
Just in my experience, talking like potentially 3 figures for a lead on some things.
Oh wow.
Where like with Facebook, I mean, I could sell a massage for less than $10 and get someone on a table, and that's only Facebook. Only
Yeah.
places like that can you really churn those numbers. But let them kind of cook, and let them come up with they come up with, and just communicate a lot,
Yeah.
as client or agency, like be communicating, talking about what you're observing, and just if everyone can get kind of real with each other, I think you can really get some awesome things done.
I agree. I agree completely. I think a team always will work better as a team. A lot of
Yeah.
times, like you'll take a team and like they'll kind of get split up to like each go and do like whatever they got to do, their own little parts of it. But when they can truly collaborate with each other, we've talked the paperclip, Joe's
Mhm.
paperclip story. Like one person by themselves may have 10 different uses for a paperclip, but when you put 100 people together to all come up with a use, you might end up with 1,000.
Yeah.
And I truly believe that if you build your work environment kind of opposite of what we've talked about being in, like where it's an environment where if you step up and take on a responsibility once, it becomes your responsibility. If you
Mhm.
can make that not be the case in your work environment, I think that will go a long way in increasing your team's productivity.
Yeah. I I've probably talked to you about this before, but this is one of my favorite things that I know. There's some guy who studied C-level people in Eastern culture businesses and Western
Okay.
culture. So like China slash Japan versus US slash Europe. We'll kind of
Yeah.
frame it like that. And he found that people in Western culture, when they go into a boardroom, they are serving themselves. So they are going to push for agendas and things that are going to serve their personal individual agenda. And this goes for, I mean, we don't have to go deep into politics, but I think we can all agree our political
Yeah.
systems are riddled with this kind of bull.
Yes.
And companies and everything. Everyone wants to line their own personal pocket. In Eastern culture, they are raised to think of the social implication, the communal implication.
Yes.
And for whatever reasons there may be, there's just this difference between Western and Eastern culture. And I think it's why Eastern cultures are able to effectively operate in more socialistic, communistic societies, because they view themselves as part of a whole. And they're not really as concerned with individual identity. Or Americans, the American dream is to
Yeah.
find your identity and your individualism,
It almost felt like I had the thought to say, and I was like, I don't know if I wanted to dive into like the political side of it, but like I feel like capitalism like breeds selfish, like
It's
you're just
designed that
trying
way.
to look out for yourself, and like it's the world we live in, but or at least the
Mhm.
country we live in. And I think that that's kind of where like the main kind of branch goes.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know like East East Asia. I don't are all of them communist? Like, are they communist?
No, I mean,
What's
they're not.
Japan? Like, yeah,
As
is
I
that?
understand it, Japan's like a very capitalistic place,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
but
So,
they still have that, we're a team mentality where it counts in the
yeah,
hierarchy.
yeah, absolutely. So I guess closing thoughts just to kind of get through here. We only got like a minute and a half left.
Mhm.
Um, try and create a work environment where your employees are going to feel not overwhelmed. Try and have yourself a system to like divide the plates evenly and fairly. You don't want to put it all on one person's plate because they can do it. If you have a lot of employees, they should share in that. Create yourself environment that the people want to work in, and they won't want to work in your at your company if they feel overwhelmed all the time. So that
Yeah.
would be my closing notes. Um, If you have any questions, if you're running a small business and you think you could be doing it better, go ahead, hop on over to goodrep.media/chat right there. You can schedule an appointment with Cody, bounce some ideas off of him, figure out how you can run your business a little bit more efficiently. He'd be happy to do it, completely free to do so. You can schedule 30 minutes to an hour with him whenever you want. Go ahead, follow that link right down there, goodrep.media/chat.
It's a pretty good
Eric,
deal.
anything, we didn't talk on your music or anything, but if you want to take this opportunity, I always give it to you to plug anything that you'd like to plug that you got going on. We didn't even talk about you as a musician today. If you have design work or like any type of contracting work you want to plug, anything you want to plug, the floor is yours.
I'll start by saying, call these guys. They know what they're doing, and I work with them all the time, and they're amazing. And they will do all the things we just talked about. All these things that we talked about, like, fairness and actually finding problems. That's what they do.
And if you put
Um,
100 things on my plate, I'll do it.
yeah,
I'll
it'll
go do
take
it.
a
Whatever.
minute. Got to work through it, but it'll get done. Yeah, and you know what? Just go talk to them because you're probably going to wind up working with me at some point, anyways.
Exactly. Exactly. All right. Well, thank you, Eric. Thank you for coming on both today and yesterday.
Yeah, my
Filling in
pleasure.
for Cody. That's been awesome. Cody, we miss you. Can't wait to have you back next week. Uh, Thank you, everybody who tuned in. I see we got a couple viewers today. We didn't have any chat. We got to get a little engagement in there, chat. Come on. We got to get us going. But I do appreciate you coming through. Eric, you as well. Hopefully, we can have you on again soon. Whenever you want, you're welcome to. Uh, yeah, with that, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Have a great day. And to you as well, Eric, have a great day.
Yep. Cheers, everybody.